Did you know that the secret to a peaceful life isn't about changing the world around you, but about changing how you respond to it? Many people spend their lives reacting, getting frustrated at rude behavior, feeling insulted by careless words, or becoming upset when things don't go their way. But what if you could live without letting others disturb your peace? As someone who has lived long enough to see the patterns of human behavior, I can tell you this. Most people don't intend to upset you. They are simply acting from their own struggles, fears, and frustrations. The real challenge isn't avoiding difficult people. It's learning how to remain unshaken no matter what they say or do. Let's talk about how to never let anyone make you angry or ruin your day, no matter what happens. 1. People's behavior is about them, not you. Did you know that most of the time when people are rude, impatient, or dismissive, it has nothing to do with you? Yet, we often take their behavior personally, as if their words or actions are a direct reflection of our worth. But the truth is, people act based on their own emotions, experiences, and struggles. Their anger, criticism, or indifference is a projection of what's happening inside of them, not a statement about who you are. Think about it. Have you ever had a bad day and unintentionally snapped at someone? Maybe you were stressed, tired, or preoccupied with something difficult, and without meaning to, your frustration spilled onto someone else. Now, imagine that the person on the receiving end took it as a deep personal attack, assuming that your mood was about them rather than about whatever you were going through. Wouldn't that be a misunderstanding? This is exactly what we do when we assume that other people's negativity is about us. The older we get, the more we realize that people are fighting battles we cannot see. The grumpy cashier might be going through a divorce. The impatient driver may be rushing to the hospital. The rude family member may be struggling with regrets they don't know how to express. The world is full of people carrying invisible burdens, and sometimes their pain spills over onto others. But their pain is theirs, not yours. When you take people's behavior personally, you make their struggles your own. You absorb their negativity, letting it settle in your heart, disturbing your peace. But when you understand that their behavior is about them, not you, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. You realize that you don't have to carry someone else's anger, judgment, or bad mood. You can simply observe it for what it is and let it pass by like a storm that has nothing to do with you. There is a quiet strength in refusing to be shaken by someone else's storm. When you truly grasp that people's words and actions are often rooted in their own fears, insecurities, and struggles, you no longer feel the need to defend yourself. You don't waste energy being offended. You simply move forward with a calm heart, knowing that their behavior is a reflection of them, not a reflection of you. And in that understanding, you find peace. 2. Expectations are the root of frustration. Did you know that much of the anger and disappointment we experience in life doesn't come from what actually happens, but from what we expected to happen? We expect people to be kind, respectful, and considerate. We expect life to be fair and for things to go according to plan. But when reality doesn't align with these expectations, frustration takes hold. The problem isn't the world itself. It's the invisible rulebook we carry in our minds, filled with how we believe things should be. Think about the times you felt disrespected or upset. Was it because someone truly harmed you, or was it because they acted differently than you believed they should? You expect a thank you after doing something kind, but when it doesn't come, you feel unappreciated. You expect someone to be honest, but when they deceive you, you feel betrayed. You expect a friend to check in on you, but when they don't, you feel abandoned. The truth is, expectations set us up for suffering because they create a gap between what we want and what is. But what if you let go of the idea that the world should follow your expectations? What if instead of expecting people to be kind, fair, or understanding, you simply accepted them as they are? This doesn't mean you tolerate mistreatment. It means you stop letting other people's behavior dictate your inner peace. People are who they are, not who we wish they were. Some are selfish, some are thoughtless, and some are simply too consumed by their own struggles to be the person we hope they'll be. When you accept this, life becomes lighter. Letting go of expectations doesn't mean lowering your standards. It means freeing yourself from unnecessary disappointment. It means understanding that no one owes you kindness, honesty, or fairness. So when you do receive it, you can appreciate it rather than expect it. It means realizing that just because you would do something for someone doesn't mean they will do the same for you. And that's okay. You cannot control others, but you can control how much power you give to unmet expectations. The moment you stop demanding that life and people conform to your rulebook, frustration loses its grip on you. You stop taking things so personally. You stop feeling like the world is letting you down. Instead, you accept life as it comes, adapting with grace rather than resisting with anger. True peace is not found in changing others, it's found in releasing the need for them to be anything other than what they are. 3. Don't hand over your emotional power. Did you know that no one has the ability to make you angry, upset, or frustrated unless you give them permission? Yet, so many of us live as though our emotions are controlled by the actions of others. We let a stranger's rudeness ruin our morning. We allow a family member's criticism to linger in our thoughts for days. We let the negativity of others dictate how we feel, as if our peace belongs to them instead of us. But the truth is, the moment you let someone else determine your emotions, you've handed them a power they should never have. Think of your mind as a house. Would you leave the front door wide open, allowing just anyone to walk in and create a mess? Of course not. You would be selective about who you let inside, protecting your space from unwanted chaos. Yet, when you allow another person's bad mood, careless words, or thoughtless actions to invade your peace, it's as if you've thrown your door open and said, "Come in and disrupt my happiness." Why give someone that control? Emotional strength comes from realizing that you, and only you, decide how you feel. People will do what they do. Some will be unkind, some will be inconsiderate, and some will simply be caught up in their own troubles. But none of that has to affect your inner world unless you allow it. The next time someone says something hurtful, pause and ask yourself, do I really want to give this person power over my emotions? More often than not, the answer is no. Their words are just words. Their mood is their own burden to carry, and their actions are not a reflection of you. Reclaiming your emotional power doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or pretending that things don't affect you. It means choosing where to place your energy. It means understanding that peace is something you protect, not something you hand over to whoever happens to cross your path. Some people will try to provoke you because they feed on reactions. Others may not even realize the impact of their behavior. But when you master the ability to remain steady in the face of negativity, you become untouchable. No one can control your emotions unless you let them. The strongest person in the room is not the one who yells the loudest or wins the argument. It's the one who no longer needs to engage at all. When you refuse to be disturbed by the words and actions of others, you reclaim your peace. And once you own your peace, no one can take it from you. 4. Use humor to diffuse anger. Did you know that the ability to laugh in difficult moments is one of the most powerful tools you have? Life is full of situations that can frustrate or annoy you. Someone cutting you off in traffic, a rude stranger, a long line at the grocery store. Many people react with irritation, allowing small inconveniences to ruin their mood. But those who have learned the secret of humor understand that laughter is not just an escape from frustration, it is a way to reclaim control over it. There is a reason why people who have been through the most in life often have the best sense of humor. They have learned that anger solves nothing, but laughter shifts the energy. When you can step back and find amusement in a situation instead of frustration, you immediately take away its power over you. You might not be able to control what happens around you, but you can always control how you respond to it. Imagine someone being rude to you for no reason. Instead of feeling insulted, what if you looked at them and thought, well, that's one way to introduce yourself? Instead of letting their negativity sink into your heart, you let it bounce off with a chuckle. Humor allows you to rise above pettiness. It prevents you from getting dragged into unnecessary conflict. A sharp remark or sarcastic comment may be thrown your way, but if you can shrug and think, that was creative, or even, well, they must be having a tough day, you've already won. You haven't let someone else's bad mood become your own. You've kept your dignity, your peace, and your happiness intact. That is real power. Some of the wisest and most peaceful people you will ever meet are not the ones who are serious all the time. They are the ones who have learned how to laugh at the absurdities of life. They know that not everything needs a reaction, that not every insult needs to be taken seriously, and that sometimes the best response to negativity is a smile and a shake of the head. Humor doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself to not let trivial things affect your peace. Life will always bring moments that test your patience, but the way you meet those moments is up to you. When you choose to laugh instead of fume, you take control of the situation instead of letting it control you. A person who can find humor in life's challenges is not a fool. They are free. And freedom, especially the freedom from anger and frustration, is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. 5. Master the art of the pause. Did you know that most regrets in life don't come from the things we carefully considered, but from the things we did in a moment of reaction? Anger, frustration, and hurt often come rushing in like a storm, demanding immediate action. We feel the need to defend ourselves, to respond, to prove a point. But the wisest people understand that real strength is not in reacting, it's in pausing. The ability to pause before speaking, before acting, before allowing emotions to take over is one of the greatest tools for maintaining inner peace. A moment of silence can change everything. Someone insults you, and your instinct is to respond with anger. But if you pause, even for a few seconds, something shifts. You create space between their words and your reaction. In that space, you gain control. You have the choice to walk away, to respond with calmness, or to let it go entirely. Without that pause, you may say something you later regret, engage in a meaningless argument, or carry resentment that was never worth your time. Pausing does not mean suppressing your emotions or pretending things don't affect you. It means allowing yourself the time to process before deciding what deserves your energy. Some battles are worth fighting, but most are not. When you pause, you give yourself the power to decide whether this moment is worth your peace. More often than not, the answer is no. Life has a way of testing our patience. There will always be people who push your buttons, situations that don't go as planned, and words that sting. But those who master the art of the pause learn that they don't have to react to everything. They learn that silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. When you choose to pause, you protect your dignity. You refuse to be controlled by the actions of others. You become the kind of person who moves through life with grace rather than reactivity. With time, you begin to see that most things that once triggered you no longer hold power. The words of an impatient stranger, the rudeness of an acquaintance, or the thoughtlessness of a friend no longer shake your foundation. You realize that not everything needs a response, and sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to remain calm. A pause may seem small, but in that small space, you find freedom. And the person who is free from the need to react is the person who truly owns their peace. 6. The ego wants to be right. Let it go. Did you know that most conflicts are not about truth, fairness, or even justice? They are about the ego's need to be right, the desire to prove a point, to win an argument, or to make someone see things your way is not about finding peace. It's about protecting pride. But the older you get, the more you realize that being right is rarely as valuable as being at peace. Think about the last time you felt frustrated in a conversation. Was it because the other person was truly wrong, or was it because they wouldn't acknowledge that you were right? The ego tells us that we must defend ourselves, that we cannot let someone walk away believing something incorrect, that our opinion must be heard and respected. But ask yourself this: what do you really gain by proving someone wrong? A temporary feeling of superiority? The satisfaction of having the last word? And at what cost? Arguments drain energy, damage relationships, and often leave both sides feeling worse than before. Letting go of the need to be right doesn't mean you let others walk over you. It doesn't mean you stop standing up for what is important. It simply means you recognize that not every battle is worth fighting. Some people will never see your perspective, no matter how well you explain it. Some people will twist your words, refuse to listen, or argue just for the sake of arguing. In these moments, you have a choice: engage in a struggle that leads nowhere, or step back and keep your peace. There is wisdom in silence. There is power in knowing when to walk away. Not every statement needs a response. Not every disagreement needs resolution. The strongest person in the room is not the one who shouts the loudest or forces others to submit. It is the one who knows that their truth does not need validation from others. With time, you begin to see that your peace is more valuable than your pride. You realize that winning an argument often means losing your serenity. You understand that walking away doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. The next time you feel the urge to correct someone, to defend yourself, to prove a point, pause and ask yourself, is this worth my peace? The answer, more often than not, is no. And in choosing peace over pride, you win something far greater than any argument. You win control over your own life. 7. Gratitude destroys anger. Did you know that it is impossible to feel anger and gratitude at the same time? The mind cannot hold both emotions together. When we are consumed by frustration, resentment, or disappointment, we are focusing on what is missing, what went wrong, or how we were wronged. But when we shift our focus to what we have, what is good, and what we appreciate, anger loses its grip. Gratitude is not just a feeling. It is a choice, a practice, and one of the most powerful antidotes to negativity. Anger thrives in the space of expectation. We expect fairness, kindness, and recognition. When we do not receive them, we feel cheated. But gratitude shifts our attention from what we believe we deserve to what we have already been given. Instead of thinking, why didn't they appreciate me? We think, I am grateful for the people who do. Instead of saying, this situation is unfair, we say, I am thankful for the strength to handle it. Gratitude does not mean ignoring difficulties. It means refusing to let them overshadow the good that still exists. As we grow older, we begin to see life from a different perspective. We realize that many of the things we once took for granted were actually gifts. The ability to wake up in the morning, the presence of loved ones, the simple joys of a quiet afternoon. These are things that not everyone gets to experience. When you start viewing life through the lens of gratitude, small annoyances lose their power. The rude stranger, the impatient driver, the inconsiderate remark, they no longer seem worth your energy when compared to the countless blessings you hold. Gratitude is not just about looking back at what we have, it is about choosing to see the good in the present moment. Even in the hardest times, there is always something to be thankful for. And the more you train your mind to focus on those things, the less room there is for anger, frustration, or resentment. The next time you feel irritation rising, pause and ask yourself, what can I be grateful for right now? That single question has the power to shift your entire mood. Anger may demand your attention, but gratitude invites you to something better. And those who live with gratitude are not just happier, they are unshakable. Because when your heart is full of appreciation, there is little space left for anything else. 8. Some people enjoy making you angry. Don't give them the satisfaction. Did you know that some people thrive on provoking others? There are individuals who gain a sense of power from stirring up conflict, pushing buttons, and watching others lose their composure. They do not argue to seek understanding. They do not criticize to offer insight. They do it simply to get a reaction, to feed their own insecurities, or to mask their own unhappiness. And the moment you allow them to upset you, they win. There is a certain kind of person who enjoys creating tension. They might be the coworker who always makes a passive-aggressive remark, the family member who brings up old wounds just to get a rise out of you, or the stranger who seems to go out of their way to be rude. These people are not looking for resolution, they are looking for control. And when you react with frustration, you hand that control over to them. But the moment you refuse to engage, you take away their power. Not every comment needs a response. Not every insult deserves your attention. When someone tries to bait you into an argument, the most powerful thing you can do is remain calm. Imagine them throwing hooks in the water, waiting for you to bite. If you take the bait, they reel you in, dragging you into a pointless exchange that drains your energy and leaves you frustrated. But if you simply swim past, ignoring their attempts, they are left with nothing. The game they are playing only works if you participate. This is not about being weak or avoiding conflict when it is necessary. It is about recognizing when someone's goal is not resolution but provocation. Walking away from a fight does not mean you lost. It means you were wise enough not to waste your time. Some people will never change. They will always look for ways to bring others down, to argue for the sake of arguing, to seek validation through manipulation, but you do not have to be their audience. The strongest person in any room is the one who remains unshaken in the face of provocation. When you refuse to react, when you meet their negativity with silence or even a slight smile, you show that they hold no power over you. And that is something they cannot stand. Let them talk. Let them criticize. Let them try to get under your skin. When they see that you are untouchable, they will eventually move on. And you will walk away with something far more valuable than a fleeting victory in an argument. You will walk away with your peace intact. Final thought. True peace comes from within. Did you know that most people spend their entire lives searching for peace in all the wrong places? They believe that peace will come when their circumstances improve, when difficult people disappear, or when life finally becomes easy. But those who have lived long enough know the truth. Peace is not something you find outside of yourself. It is something you create within. It is not the result of a perfect life, but of a well-trained mind, one that no longer depends on external conditions to feel at ease. The world is unpredictable. People will be unfair. Situations will not always go your way, and hardships will arise when you least expect them. If your sense of calm depends on everything going smoothly, you will always be at the mercy of things beyond your control. But if you learn to master your inner world, if you learn to separate your emotions from the chaos around you, then no matter what happens, you will remain steady. This is the difference between those who are constantly frustrated and those who move through life with grace. Think of the ocean. The surface may be rough, with waves crashing in every direction, but deep beneath, the water remains still. Most people live at the surface, reacting to every storm, tossed around by every wave. But true peace comes from going deeper, from cultivating a mindset that remains unshaken no matter what happens above. The older you get, the more you realize that the storms will never stop coming, but your response to them is entirely within your control. True peace is not about avoiding challenges or difficult people. It is about becoming the kind of person who cannot be disturbed by them. It is about no longer handing over your emotional power to anyone who crosses your path. It is about realizing that anger, frustration, and resentment only harm the person who holds on to them. When you stop taking things personally, when you let go of the need to control others, when you learn to pause before reacting, and when you practice gratitude even in difficult moments, you build a foundation of peace that no one can shake. There will always be things in life that try to pull you away from your peace. A careless remark, a moment of disrespect, an unexpected difficulty. These things will come again and again, but you have a choice. You can let them control you, or you can rise above them. You can give in to frustration, or you can step back and see the bigger picture. You can react with anger, or you can choose calm. In the end, the strongest people are not those who never face adversity, but those who refuse to let adversity change them. The happiest people are not those with the easiest lives, but those who have learned how to carry peace within them. And the wisest people are not those who have all the answers, but those who no longer need to fight every battle. Because when you truly understand that peace is an inside job, you realize that no person, no situation, and no circumstance has the power to take it away from you. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.